Every relationship, whether it's a fleeting encounter or a deep lifelong bond, is built on invisible threads. Invisible threads that bind you to someone else. Threads that, when pulled too tightly or loosely, break apart the connection that was once there. What if I told you the things you've been doing in your relationships, the things that feel small, even insignificant, are quietly pulling at those threads, unraveling something beautiful? What if I told you that the mistakes you're making aren't just hurting you? They're killing the attraction, the trust, the deep connection that both of you crave? We all have these patterns. These unconscious behaviors that shape the way we connect, communicate, and relate. Patterns so ingrained that we don't even realize they're destroying the very foundation of our relationships. But what if it didn't have to be this way? What if you could stop pulling at those threads, stop unraveling your connections, and start weaving something stronger, more resilient? It's time to face the truth about the patterns you're unknowingly creating. To break free from the toxic loops that you found yourself caught in, the first step toward transformation is to stop doing the things that are quietly sabotaging your relationships. The things that drain emotional energy, create distance, and breed insecurity. And that begins by understanding the truth about emotional patterns. One of the most destructive patterns you might not even realize you're engaging in is validation seeking. This is where you start to anchor your self-worth to the reactions of others, specifically the person you're in a relationship with. It might look like needing constant reassurance, asking over and over they still like you, still care, still desire you. You might find yourself saying, "Am I doing okay? Do you think I'm good enough?" You're trying to extract your worth from them, but in doing so, you give away your power. Attraction isn't about seeking validation. It's about being secure in who you are without needing constant confirmation from someone else. You want to stand firm in your value, not wait for someone else to tell you that you're enough. But why do we do this? Why do we find ourselves craving that approval, constantly looking to the other person for the green light? It's because we've been taught, since childhood, to seek affirmation from external sources. We've learned to depend on other perceptions of us to feel seen, heard, and validated. We are all craving recognition, but the most powerful recognition comes from within. You might think that giving her endless compliments will make her love you more. You might believe that constantly reassuring her how amazing she is will build a stronger connection. But let me tell you something powerful. When you worship someone, you lose their respect. And the moment respect is lost, attraction fades. Respect isn't built through constant admiration. It's built through equal standing, through recognizing each other's humanity, and through mutual admiration. When you put someone on a pedestal, when you place them above you, you begin to lose the balance that makes a relationship healthy. The pedestal you've built isn't a throne, it's a prison. You're placed in a position where they feel untouchable, while you, on the other hand, remain below, out of reach. A woman doesn't want a man who looks up to her as if she's superior. She wants someone who can look at her side by side with a steady gaze, not someone who bows down to her every whim. But how do you stop this pattern? It begins with recognizing that no one, not even the person you love, is above you. She's not your queen, and you're not her servant. She's your equal. And the minute you treat her as such, the dynamic shifts. No more pedestal. No more worship. But this isn't easy. This isn't a quick fix. Changing your perspective, altering your behavior, it takes courage. Courage to see yourself as worthy. Courage to stop seeking validation. Courage to stand firm in who you are, regardless of how she might feel. And yes, it's a risk. But the truth is, the risk of remaining in this cycle of insecurity, of constantly needing her approval to feel whole, is far greater than the risk of losing her respect. The price you'll pay is too high. If you want to build a relationship based on deep connection, a relationship that lasts, you need to stop looking for her to validate you. Stand firm in your worth. And trust me, this shift will make her see you in a completely different light. The second mistake you must stop making is letting her control the relationship. It's a subtle thing at first. You might not even realize it's happening. But over time, you give up more and more of your own sense of direction. You agree to everything she says. You apologize when you haven't even done anything wrong. And before you know it, you're in a relationship where the balance of power is no longer yours. This isn't about domination or control. It's not about being a tyrant. Leadership in a relationship is about direction, not about dictating. A woman wants to trust you to lead, not in a way that suppresses her voice, but in a way that creates clarity. She needs to know that you can make decisions, that you know where you're headed, and that your path doesn't waver based on the whims of the moment. When you give up your control, when you allow her to call all the shots, when you bend her will to avoid conflict, you're no longer acting out of strength. You are acting out of fear. The fear of losing her. The fear of rocking the boat. But here's the truth. When you lead with fear, you lose respect. She'll start to see you as someone who can't handle the weight of the relationship. Someone who isn't strong enough to stand tall beside her. But here's the good news. You can change. The moment you take control of the direction, the moment you stop letting her manipulate the course of the relationship, you regain your respect. You show her that you are capable of making decisions, of standing firm, of leading, and in that she will find something magnetic, something she can trust. This doesn't mean being inflexible. Leadership means knowing when to listen, knowing when to compromise, knowing when to adjust your course. It's about balance. But the foundation of leadership is trust. Trust in your own ability to guide and trust in the relationship you are both building together. Without that, the emotional connection will falter. You must never be afraid to walk away. This might be one of the hardest lessons to learn. Because in relationships, we often feel as though we can't live without the other person. We cling to them out of fear. And in doing so, we distort the relationship. We tolerate bad behavior. We endure disrespect. All for the sake of keeping things together. But this is where everything begins to unravel. The moment you are willing to walk away, the moment you're willing to leave behind someone who doesn't respect you, someone who doesn't value you, this is the moment you step into your power. Power isn't about staying in a relationship at any cost. It's about knowing that you are enough on your own, with or without the other person. In walking away, you show that you are not desperate, that you are not willing to compromise your own worth for the sake of maintaining an unhealthy bond. You show her that respect is non-negotiable. And when she sees that you will walk away if she doesn't meet your standards, something inside her shifts. The relationship becomes real. When you stop tolerating disrespect, when you stop allowing bad behavior to slide, when you stop being afraid to lose her, you ignite something powerful. You ignite the attraction, the respect, and the deep connection that you've been searching for. You show her that your worth is not up for negotiation, and that alone makes you stand out in a way no one else can. These are first 3 steps. Stop seeking validation, stop letting her control the relationship, and stop being afraid to walk away. They are the foundation of strong, healthy relationships. But there's one final piece. One last pattern that you must stop doing, one that ties all of this together. And it begins with being consistent in who you are. In every relationship, whether it's romantic, platonic, or even familial, the threads that bind us together are woven from a shared understanding, trust, and mutual respect. But what happens when those threads start to fray, when the very foundation of your connection begins to crumble? What happens when the certainty you once shared starts to feel like shifting sand beneath your feet? This is the danger of inconsistency. The danger of being someone different depending on the situation, the day, or the person you're with. One moment, you're confident and grounded, and the next, you're unsure, desperate for validation, or acting in a way that doesn't align with your core values. It's not just confusing for the person you're with. It's confusing for you too. And in that confusion, something dangerous happens. Attraction fades. You see, women are drawn to certainty, but not the kind that comes from arrogance, bravado, or false pretenses. The kind of certainty that makes a man magnetic is the kind that comes from self-awareness. The kind that says, this is who I am and I am okay with it. Not perfect, not invincible, but whole. This is what she craves, not only in a man but in any partner. Stability. A foundation she can trust. When you are inconsistent, when your words and actions don't align, when you shift your personality like a chameleon to fit the environment, you signal weakness. You show her that you don't really know who you are. You become someone she can't rely on, someone who changes depending on who they're with. Imagine this. One moment, you tell her you're excited about your future. You talk about your goals, your passions, and your plans. But the next moment, you back down from those very things because you're afraid she won't approve or that it will create conflict. You say one thing and do another. You act confident one day and insecure the next. What does that tell her? That she can't trust your words. She can't trust you to stand by your beliefs and goals. She starts to wonder, who are you really? And that question, that doubt, it's the death knell for attraction. Consistency is what builds trust. Consistency shows that you are a man of your word, a man who doesn't flinch when life gets hard, a man who doesn't bend at every whim. When you can be consistent, when your actions reflect your words, when you show up as the same person regardless of where you are or who you're with, you show her that you are safe. You are a constant in a world full of uncertainty. But this consistency isn't about being rigid or inflexible. It's not about never evolving or changing. No, it's about staying true to your core self as you grow. It's about standing firm in your values, even when the world around you is chaotic. It's about having the strength to remain grounded even when you're pushed and pulled in every direction. To be consistent means knowing who you are and making choices that reflect that knowledge. It means sticking to your principles even when it's hard. When she challenges you, when she tests you, when she pushes you, stand firm. This is where true connection is forged. She doesn't want to be with someone who shifts with the breeze. She wants someone who stands strong, someone she can rely on, someone who is unwavering in his belief in himself. But let's be clear, consistency doesn't mean being perfect. You will make mistakes, you will falter, and you will have moments of doubt. The key is not to pretend to be something you're not, but to embrace your flaws, your insecurities, and your imperfections and still be true to who you are. Authenticity is the key to emotional mastery. When you are authentic, you're no longer afraid of your vulnerability. You embrace it because you understand that your flaws do not define you. They are part of you, but they are not all of you. When you can embrace this authenticity, you stop seeking approval from her or anyone else. You stop molding yourself to fit her expectations. You stop worrying about whether she likes you enough, whether you're good enough, because you already know that you are. And that confidence, it's magnetic. It's the kind of energy that draws her to you, not out of neediness, but because she sees you standing in your power. And this is the final thing you must stop doing to build stronger relationships. Stop pretending to be someone you're not. Stop pretending that you are more than you are. Stop pretending that you're perfect. And stop pretending that you don't have flaws. We all do. But it's only by embracing our true selves, by being consistent with who we are and what we believe in, that we can build deep, meaningful connections. Stop hiding behind the mask. Stop trying to be someone you think she will want. Stop trying to mold yourself into a version that fits the world's expectations of what a man should be. You are enough just as you are. And when you can stand in that truth, when you can let go of the need to prove yourself, something incredible happens. You begin to attract the right kind of people, the ones who will appreciate you for who you truly are. You will attract people who love you for your strengths, yes, but also for your vulnerabilities. And those people, they will bring out the best in you. They will challenge you to grow, but they will never demand that you change who you are. Now, I want you to take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I ready to stop making these mistakes? Am I ready to let go of the patterns that have been holding me back? Am I ready to become the man who stands firm, who leads with strength and authenticity, who builds relationships based on trust and mutual respect? The truth is, you have the power to change your life. It's not easy. It takes courage, it takes strength, and it takes self-awareness. But it's worth it, because when you embrace your true self, when you stop seeking validation, when you stop letting fear control you, when you stop trying to be someone you're not, you begin to attract the love and respect that you deserve. And that, my friend, is the foundation of a healthy, fulfilling relationship. So I challenge you, today, stop making these mistakes. Stop living in the cycle of insecurity and self-doubt. Stand firm in who you are, and watch how everything around you begins to transform. Because the only way to build stronger relationships that are deep, meaningful, and lasting, is to first build a stronger relationship with yourself. If this resonated with you and you're ready to make real changes in your relationships, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Don't keep this powerful message to yourself. Spread the word and help others break free from the patterns that are holding them back. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more content on emotional mastery, self-awareness, and building deeper, more meaningful connections. Your journey toward transformation starts now. Let's take it together.